Hey, thanks for watching What's in the Box. Today we're going to take a look at Neca's Dracula figure from the Universal Monsters. Now typically I throw away boxes, blatantly so, and I talk about how the boxes don't matter, only the figure. But I would like to point out with the NECA figures, particularly the Universal Monster brand, they often have these really cool movie poster boxes. And that's a nice little touch. If you notice the ones behind me, like Invisible Man, Wolfman, Frankenstein, and the Mummy, all have their original box art. And that's a nice little touch, and I thought it was worth mentioning this time. But without further ado, we pop the box and we get to the figure itself.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Now, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not a huge Dracula fan. I know, disappointing. I have a friend who's a massive Dracula fan, particularly a Lugosi fan, and he has a wonderful time reviewing these figures. I will too. It's just that the character was way, way oversaturated in the film industry for many, many years. And the lore, and it's just all kind of gotten repetitive. Now, I will say the Bela Lugosi Dracula was quite good, and I enjoy watching it from time to time. Again, I only really gave it the time of day a few years back, and found Lugosi in particular having a great performance, as well as some of the other character actors throughout the film. But we're here to talk about action figures. This guy's decked out with quite a few accessories, and I love that. Similar to the Invisible Man, the Wolf Man, they have quite a bit going on as a figure. Now, when you get right down to Lugosi's Dracula, as you can see, he has his classic attire on, including the famous medallion that's seen throughout a couple little scenes here and there. Even his ring here on his hand, all captured quite nicely. He has a black overcoat, black pants, like, Dracula's attire, right? It does have a nice sort of brown gray highlights to it. You can usually catch these in the light if you look closely enough. And then, of course, he has his typical tight collar with the medallion hanging from that. And I believe he has the vest as well, the underlying vest. All captured well. Of course, you get down to the head sculpt here, and it is nice too. I mean, two of the three portraits here really capture the look of Dracula, the look that Lugosi gave him. This particular head, I would say, is probably the second best sculpt in the group. The one that captures him the most is just this standard face right here. This says Lugosi to me above and beyond all the others, and I think you'll feel the same way too. Now, the least accurate, in my opinion, is sort of the grimacing. I don't know what the expression is in the film, really. Just sort of this irate kind of look on his face. This just doesn't have the feel to me, or the look. But I do think these two are fantastic representations of Lugosi as the character. Again, Neca leans on Trevor Grove for a lot of the Universal Monster head sculpts, and he nails it once more. Um, Past that, we can start getting into more than just the heads. We have several extra hands here. We have standard hands, and then we have a more menacing, um, sort of typical Dracula hand gesture. I don't know what it is exactly, but that one. And then we have a hand to grasp the candelabra. These are well done. They even have, probably hard to tell on this smaller hand. Huh, that's odd. So on this hand, the nails are just normal. But on this grasping hand, they're actually sharpened. I don't know if you'll be able to tell that, but they have a more Dracula-esque nail shape, which is just odd. None of the other hands have that, but it's a thing. Moving on, we have these nice little silver goblets, and they have a nice little shiny paint job to them, and they even have a wine, possibly blood wine color, inside each one of them. There are two, as you can see here. You also have a platter, and it's silver, and it has a nice bit of dry brushing that gives it a lot of depth and color. Really, really well done for a plate. I believe those goblets go onto the platter, and then you have the bottle of wine. Yeah, that's a really bad Dracula impression, but this too is pretty nice. Yeah, so the bottle is sort of a clear green, but you can tell that there's something in here. There's a separate color, a little reddish color. And then I have no clue what the marking is, or if it was something different in the film. That too, I believe, goes on the platter. Now, as you know, I don't know the film that well. I watch it from time to time, so I haven't really had time to pay attention to the details like most people have, Ryan. But does he serve blood wine at one point? Was that a thing? I think it is, right? Because that's how we get Fritz the Crazy Man, maybe? I don't know. Comment below what exactly happened. It's hard for me to remember. Now, one scene in particular that I do remember is with the candelabra. And this is nicely captured by Neca. I have noticed through little film clips and stills that you had this candelabra here that was kind of like a dragon or a snake's head wrapping around it, and then the nice used candle. And they do a bit of flames here, and it's not bad. It's probably not the best effect, but it's not bad at all. And of course, this is the scene of the children of the night, what beautiful music they make. Finally, accessory-wise, we have Dracula's bat form here. This may appear kind of black on video, which it is, but it has some nice little details, brown colored details and dry brushing. Even the face has little white fangs and little beady red eyes. The talons here, if that's what they're technically called, for bat wings, they have a gloss color, and so do the feet, as you can kind of see the light catches them. Now, this does come with a stand. It was a real nice touch. You get this acrylic rod and a little black stand for the bat. Now, I'm sure this is going to be a pain in the butt, but I can try, there we go, all right, to get that on there. And that's really cool. Without a doubt, I'll display that. And you have some maneuverability here, which is a brilliant kind of thing, and you can kind of tilt the bat a little bit in flight. So a really, really nice touch from Neca. Yeah, a great amount of accessories, and I'm really digging it. Now I'll take the bat off because we don't want him getting in the way of the next step. It might not be as easy, so I'm just going to kind of take him off of that and set him aside. Now, I'm generally not a fan of soft goods on action figures. Cloth normally does not scale well. That's not the case here, and I'm thankful for that. We have Dracula's cape, and this material is so smooth and well weighted. I'm shocked that they could pull this off. Like, I'm truly shocked. Now, they did a brilliant little thing here, which is they had a plastic collar, and that collar actually snaps in place like so. Now, the cape is weighted enough that it will cause a posing issue. But as you can see, the cape is done so well, you can really pull off a handful of looks. Now, of course, it's not wired. That's not a big deal, but you can drape it in certain ways where it'll look really great on the figure. I don't really think you could ask for more from a Dracula figure, to be quite honest with you. This has all the typical accessories you might expect, especially from that particular movie. And the figure itself is really great. Now, I'll go ahead and take the cape or cloak off, and we'll just look at the articulation real quick. He has a pretty solid T-pose there. Typical ball joints. Of course, we have hinge joints for his elbows. Hands move. They also have some up and down motion. That will need to be broke loose a little bit so he can actually do the posing. But it is there. And we have some articulation at the waist, so not too bad. Hips, knees. His boots are a little restricted by the cuff of the pants, but nothing that you wouldn't normally expect out of a Neca figure. But yeah, I really do enjoy it, and I'm glad I have him, and I'm glad he can be a part of the rest of the Universal Monsters. We only have a handful more to go as far as the main lineup, the Creature, Bride, and it seems like NECA's really committing to a much larger line. I believe the Phantom was announced. Of course, like I said, Creature, Bride. Who else? Was there a Metaluna monster, or am I just making that up? There's one or two more, and I think I'll probably get them all, to be honest. I would love to have a shelf filled with these guys. I don't know that I would dip too far into the variations and, the Bride version of Frankenstein or stuff like that, but you never know. They might have me for life here, to be honest with you. Again, the figure's about 37 to 42, depending on what market you're in. This particular one I got from AMOC Time. If you haven't checked those out, go and check them out. Order you a couple things. I'm not paid by any respect, but they tend to get things in a little bit earlier than other companies. And that's the only reason I have this guy right now. But hopefully you enjoyed the review. Check out the movie sometime if you hadn't. Rewatch it if you need to. And as always, I'll catch you next time.